conquer and we're going to take some. Is that understood? Yes, sir. That's what we're going to do, sweethearts. We are going to go and get some. All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! What are you?
Exceptional Parent Magazine's August back-to-school issue provides tips on preparing students with disabilities for an easier transition from summer vacation back to school. You can read this issue and past archive issues for free by signing up for EP at www.epmagazine.com.
Monotony. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Dull, tedious, just plain boring. But what is this? A contender, perhaps? Something unboring by the looks of it. Jabs right at dull, an uppercut to tedium, something that keeps you on your toes, keeps your head on a swivel, a knockout punch to your old, boring workouts. Welcome to Fight Camp.
Oscar Mike Radio is a proud podcast partner of Reach Across America Radio, heard every Thursday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern. They're also big supporters of the nonprofit I Got Your Six, Two Lives at Once. And with every wreath you sponsor through Oscar Mike Radio, $5 goes back to this great organization dedicated to making a difference in the lives of veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, and first responders battling PTSD. Two Lives at Once pairs these brave men and women together with dogs rescued from kill shelters. In this way, two lives are saved at the same time by saving each other. Donate now. Go to reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio to help. That's reachacrossamerica.org/Oscar Mike Radio.
Marines are made for this. Made for the calling only warriors can answer. Made from an unshakable belief in our nation and a strength that comes from the determination to win together. But you'll have to earn your place among us, because you don't join the Marines. You become one.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio as we count down to number 500. That's right, 500 shows. Oscar Mike Radio is co-produced with Sinister Ones Productions. What's your podcast doing? I want to thank my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, Echo 6 Creations, and my supporters, Cason Shaving Company, Exceptional Parent Magazine, and Fight Camp. Be your strongest combination. I'm talking to a change maker. I'm talking to somebody who is on the front line of veterans advocacy on something that I care very deeply about, and that is veterans homelessness. And I have Mike and Steve from Operation Vet Rescue out of Tennessee. Gentlemen, you guys are truly Oscar Mike. You're on the move. You're all around, but we're here now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you got the dude, what's his name in the back?
That's Cloud.
Or Mr. Cloud if it's on television.
Mr. Cloud. Well, he is kind of on TV, so I will use the Mr. So before we get into what Operation Vet Rescue is, tell me about your military service, if you guys served, how that all went, and then we'll get into all the other good stuff.
Okay. So I'll start off. So I served in the United States Navy in the 1980s. I was aboard the USS Chair frigate in the Persian Gulf. So I saw a couple of tours. Joined the teams after that. Fortunately, got hurt, got out. So I did 6 years in the service in the Navy. And then, so I got out as an E4. And then I'll let Mike tell you his brilliant career is in the Navy as well.
Yeah, so I actually did 30 years in the U.S. Navy as a rescue swimmer, door gunner, and helicopters, uh, various commands, about 7 combat deployments, 2 to Afghanistan, 5 to Iraq, and I got out. I retired after 30 years in 2018. Decided I retired out of San Diego, and when the Uncle Sam was paying the bill, it was all good in California. But after that, I figured I better move, so I'm out here in East Tennessee.
Now, East Tennessee, are you in the Gatlinburg, Knoxville area?
We are southwest of Gatlinburg, Knoxville, about 40
Oh,
miles.
that is beautiful country out there, just like
It's
the
gorgeous.
rolling mountains and just, nice, nice.
Definitely.
I want to come out and see the Alvin York Museum out there. So you both served in the military, one for a very long time, one for, and I got hurt and I got out soon. But what all got you connected with this problem of veterans homelessness that Operation Vet Rescue looks to support?
Sure. So we got involved because there was a need in the area. We were both involved with another group, and unfortunately, it turned out to be not legit. Was started by a person that wasn't a veteran. Basically, taking donations as it for themselves. So we shut that down. We worked with the Attorney General in the state of Tennessee. So we were like, look, we really, first of all, running for-profit organizations, I always think of, is there a need out there? We did the research, and unfortunately, there's a huge need. There's over 37,000 veterans, our brothers and sisters out there are homeless across the United States. In the part of Tennessee, they're saying there's over 500. That number is much, much higher. Of course, officially, the veteran service officers that we're working with and the Veterans Administration can't give us the exact number. However, any number is not satisfying to us. So we're on a mission, at least right now, in Tennessee and Eastern Tennessee, is to eliminate those homeless veterans. Again, if they want the services, we've been reaching out to these veterans, that need help. They want to help out. They just don't know. They got frustrated with working with the Veterans Administration. It's very complicated. I'm sure everybody on your podcast is well aware of that. The good thing is, we walk and talk the action. Mike and I both use the Veterans Administration for our services. I got a PTSD dog in the back that helps out, goes to my VA appointments, goes on our rescues and so forth. So we walk the walk, we talk the talk. Again, we reach out to everybody that we can in regards to our mission. Really what we want to do is rescue these folks, get them into temporary housing, and then help them work, getting back to life, getting them engaged, as well as finding them permanent housing.
So in your area of Tennessee, and Tennessee says it has 500, that's what you're told. There's 500 homeless veterans in the state of Tennessee, which is just, again, to your point, one too many. But you said something that's really interesting to me. You said that some veterans either have trouble accepting the help or just don't want to connect to help. Why do you think that is?
I think once they get out, maybe they got into some financial debt or whatever, and they find themselves in that funk. Some of them just aren't comfortable not accepting the help. Some of them think it's a handout, not a hand up. And with us, it's definitely a hand up and trying to give them a second chance. But we don't forget those brothers and sisters out there. We will re-engage them, and let them know that we're available for them should they choose to not want to, live on the streets or whatever. But and some of them are into, some drugs, alcohol problems. And we have means to get them off of that stuff. Some are psychological, and we have means to get them off, help with that. But it's just I think they've done it for so long, maybe, that they're just comfortable with that situation, and like I said, I think they view it as a handout, and we're trying to give them a hand up.
I want to go back just a little bit to the nonprofit that you had to deal with in your first experience there. I try to tell people you have to be really careful who you support, give your money and time to when it comes to nonprofits nowadays, and not just military and veterans ones, but across the board, because there are so many problems. What, in your experience, gentlemen, is the best way to validate if a nonprofit is actually legit? Because the reason I'm asking is you're trying to do the right thing here, right? And all it takes is 1, 2, 3 nonprofits in your area to have problems, and then you all are torpedoed in moving forward. So, what should people look for when it comes to supporting a nonprofit so you don't have to deal with what you deal with?
That's a great question. I never ran a nonprofit before, and what you mentioned is spot on. It's really scary. It doesn't take much to set up a nonprofit. I think most people that want to do a nonprofit want to do it for the good reasons. Unfortunately, there's a lot of scammers out there. I didn't know there's not a hard set percentage of a nonprofit that has to go to that particular cause. That's the scary part. And that's really where we need better regulations around it. What I would suggest to people, and when we all go out and ask for donations, we're asking people, hey, don't donate to us today. Go on the website, check out the IRS, go to the state of Tennessee and check and make sure that we're a viable 503(c) as well as a charity. We've been in business since December of last year. Believe it or not, we just got approval for our charity as of yesterday. They finally got it fixed, and it wasn't our fault. You're going to love this. We gave them all the paperwork from the IRS. We were approved back in December. Some administrator put the information in incorrectly. They had the sheet. They could see it was just the wrong date, and it would have been, and it was approved. It's just, dealing with the bureaucracy, but we want to make sure that people understand, we're transparent and we're legitimate out there, but ask questions, ask who they help, ask if you can speak to those individuals that they've helped. It's a shame. Like you said, it only takes one bad apple for folks not to want to donate. And dealing with these investigators through this process, I learned the two biggest charities that folks will give donations to is veterans and animals. Those are the two biggest charities, and unfortunately, they're the two biggest scams that are out there. The cool thing is, Mike and I, we go to a lot of charity events. We go to the VFW, we go to a lot of Vietnam guys. Those are the guys that we want to represent, and gals. We don't want to see their name tarnished. I mean, those poor guys and gals had such a rough time coming back from Vietnam. They don't need this crap on top of it. So we want to make sure that we're transparent, we're on top of it.
Okay. So Operation Vet Rescue is for homeless veterans. I'm going to ask the new question is, you identify a veteran that's homeless, or one comes to you and says, hey, I'm homeless or on the verge of being homeless. How does your organization, raise a flag, answer the call to action, and advocate for that veteran?
Yeah, so I'm actually the head of the street rescue team, and we have a telephone number, which is also posted on our website, that has a 24-hour answering service that will, you can either leave a message if it's late at night or whatever, and we'll check it. And if it's urgent, we'll know that it's urgent and get to it immediately. And then call that veteran. Ironically, if you will, you may know, but a lot of your homeless population, the one thing they do have is a telephone. It may be not a service telephone, so they'll ride like the public transportation to get Wi-Fi, but they do have a telephone. So they'll call and say, hey, like you just said, on the verge of being homeless, maybe. We had a case where a guy, a landlord in East Tennessee, regular civilian or whatever, kicked a wheelchair-bound veteran out on the street in the rain, which was just absolutely absurd. So we were able to capture that individual, veteran, get him into, he already had public transportation. We got him over to what's called Calm, which is a Knoxville homeless shelter for the night, and then carry on the next day to get him more permanent residence or whatever. But that's how we are able to reach out quickly. Here next week, Wednesday, there's going to be a huge homeless encampment. They're calling it the Surge, if you will, and we're gonna be there with them to actually. They're looking for all homeless population. Of course, we're trying to weed out the veterans, and so that's how we reach out to them. Hopefully, before they become homeless, and if they are homeless, that's how we get to them.
Right. And a little bit on top of that, Mike also and I also try to, for lack of a better word, before we turn them over to the Veterans Administration or any veteran service officer, we want to make sure we use some common lingo that we all have that we know being in the military. And that's kind of how we've kind of weed some cats out. We have a lot of folks that who will reach out to us as well. My father was in the military or so forth. Unfortunately, we don't help those individuals. It's very specific for the veteran themselves. We don't also help spouses of veterans if the veteran had passed. There's other organizations that can help them out there. We specifically help that veteran. If obviously if they have wife and children, yes, we do get involved, but we try to vet the vet because the process is very stringent. Work with the VA and get them the vouchers and so forth like that. So that's where we come in to vet the vet. Where unfortunately the other organization that we were involved with didn't have that acronym, to ask those type of questions up front.
What are your biggest challenges as an organization serving this population? Because it's not an easy population to serve, and it can be seen as hard sometimes because it's like, well, wait a minute, there's so many people ask me for money. Why should I give to a homeless veteran?
That's a great question. We live now volunteer state, and that's our biggest challenge. We get a lot of, hey, Steve and Mike, we'd love to get involved. We want to volunteer, but the action speaks louder than words, and that's our biggest challenge. We get a lot of that, but a lot of them that are ex-military want to help out. It's getting the word out. That's the thing. It's two of us at the moment. We've covered 5 counties in eastern Tennessee. It's a lot of land to cover. We don't know where these folks are at, but we do a lot of events. And the great thing is now, because of running for profit organizations, I found out if you want to grow and grow quickly, you partner with the right organization. So as we speak right now, we're heading to a meeting with a small group that people might have heard of called the Salvation Army. They have a group of people that will go out with us as well now. Also, the Red Cross has now stepped up as well. So we got some pretty national exposure that's going to help us in our campaign to rescue these veterans.
You just got your full nonprofit staff stood up. It's the 2 of you now. How do you look at growing your organization in the next year and tackling this problem?
Sure. It's really getting out to any veterans groups. We're reaching out to veterans groups. We're doing a lot of public service announcements, for lack of a better word. We're getting on news channels, getting the word out there. We're reaching radio. We're going to different events throughout the year to try to drive that organization. One of the best things I think that we've done so far is we joined a wonderful organization called ETMAC here in Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee, called Eastern Tennessee Military Association Council. And these cats, they're fantastic. Every branch of the service is represented in all supporting veterans groups meet there as well. I mean, it's well run. The ladies, she's got to be ex-military. She keeps us on task. You get 2 minutes, you stand up, you give the update, and you move on. And that group has been very great for us to get the word out and spread the word. So those are the types of messages. Right now, our goal is really not only to expand it, but we're also looking for land to build tiny homes. That's our mission. The biggest challenge that we spoke to, all these different organizations are saying the same thing. Hey, Steve, Mike, the challenge is, yes, they're homeless, but we have no place to put them. There's no such thing in Eastern Tennessee temporary housing. There is none. And what they have, it's way overloaded. So what we're looking at is anybody that has 2.5 acres of land, we can then put tiny homes on it. We're talking to a large organization right now. We can't mention their name, but they provide campers. We'll just say that. And they're willing to help us as well, get them in temporary housing, get them through the drug rehabs, psychological, whatever, get them on the right path to permanent housing. So that's our biggest challenge, because this area that we're in right now is growing exponentially. I forget, they mentioned how many will be here in the next couple of years. It's growing. So, rents are going up. These people that we're rescuing might not necessarily be homeless. They're on the verge of being homeless as well, because now their rent's been jacked up, 2-3 times. They both had jobs, but yet, unfortunately, I hate to say, greed takes over, and everybody's kind of like a land rush. There's only so much land, and it's unfortunate, but there's the good thing is there are programs out there to help the veteran population.
Just hypothetically, as we kind of wind down, do you ever see a point in time where veterans homelessness will be effectively zero, where instead of 500 veterans in Tennessee, there's maybe 7? Is that possible? And what happens if you get to that number?
That would be fantastic. I'll let Mike answer that
I was going to say, well, our new veterans administrator that just took over, one of his primary goals is to end veteran homelessness across the nation, not only just in Tennessee. So do I think it will get there? Yes, I think it's going to take some time, and it's going to take some government, maybe some governmental resources to step up and put their money where their mouth is type thing to end it. Because one thing we run into, like Steve said, was we can rescue them and we can get them temporary housing, but to get these guys into full-time housing or get them basically what they really need is a transition from once they left the military to civilian sector through all the stuff they saw and did, and then back into society. And that doesn't exist currently. There's a lot of programs working on PTSD. I just watched a 60 Minutes special on Larkin's War, prior Commander SEAL or whatever. But anyways, there's things being done to try and solve the initial problem of transition, but it's not there yet. And will we get there? Lord willing, the creek don't rise, we will. And once we do get there, it'll be a huge celebration. Absolutely.
It's so hard to get a nonprofit going. It's a full-time job. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a part-time deal. How can people connect with you all? And, subsequent to that, how can people, what's your greatest need?
Volunteers, and right now, like I said, we're just started in December, so our bank account's kind of light, but donations are kind of secondary, but we do need volunteers. They can connect through us through our website. OVRTN.org is our website. There's volunteer button on there. There's a donate button. There's who we are, what we do on there. We're completely transparent, like Steve said. All of our 501(c) stuff is on there. But that's the best way to connect with us is OVRTN.org.
So I see it. It's the Operation Vet Rescue. It's the Eagle Wings, and then it's tough to look at, man. It really is. In closing, it's hard to believe in this country that we would allow veterans to be homeless at all. And is it just more emphasis on the transition out and support after the veteran gets out, or is there a root cause? Is what I'm trying to understand.
That's a great question. You could be out for 10, 15 years. We're helping this gentleman who's was in the Army back in Air Force back in the 70s. Had a fantastic job. Was a mechanic for decades. Unfortunately, fell on hard times. It can happen to any of us. Could be a medical issue. Could wind up in a divorce or whatnot. You lose everything, and unfortunately, you just don't have that connection, to get you back on your feet. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary. Be surprised how close a lot of individuals are to homelessness these days, especially with the rents and the land usage and so forth it significantly increases, and we don't see it decreasing. To Mike's point as well, had a wonderful opportunity. I was invited to go to the National Coalition of Homeless Veterans in Washington, D.C. for their annual conference. And I got to briefly see. Fortunately, I wasn't able to meet the Secretary of Veterans Administration, but believe it or not, the cat actually served in the Army as well as the Navy. So there's grateful that there's somebody in an upper position that actually walk the walk and talk the talk. And I think that's fantastic for our brothers and sisters out there. And he said his goal is to eradicate homeless veterans. So I think that's a fantastic. And if that man wants to do it, I mean, it doesn't go any further in the VA than that.
No, it doesn't. Well, gentlemen, you are truly embodying Oscar Mike right now. you're on mission, and then you're on the move from one mission to the next. You're doing this show now. You got to hit the ground running here in like 15 minutes. Like, this is what I love about doing this show, and you embody it so well. I will have all the links to your website and anything else on the Oscar Mike Radio show post. I wish you all the best, and I think this is important work. Again, in this country, with the resources we have, it's just still mind-blowing that we have homeless veterans.
Agree, definitely. And again, thank you so much for having us on the show. Apologize for the moving.
No. I mean, this is what I'm like. You're Oscar Mike. We're in the 5-ton going out. We're in the ship going out to get what we got to get, and this is just how it goes. So I'm very happy for you guys, and you all take care.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Have a great day.
So look, folks, there it is. I'll have the links to this website in the Oscar Mike Radio show post. The organization is Operation Vet Rescue, and again, you're seeing people be Oscar Mike right now. And as we say in Oscar Mike Radio, we're mission in flight. Thank you very much.
The biggest fear Gold Star families have, that their child will be forgotten.
We need to never forget freedom wasn't free.
It's the fact that they give us the life we have now. We should remember them and give thanks to them.
If I can be a part of something today that's going to make the surviving family of any of these veterans, these heroes, feel better tomorrow, then it's worth it.
That one wreath symbolizes one family that was able to smile because of the generous donations.
To sponsor a wreath and honor a veteran, visit wreathsacrossamerica.org.
Thank you for listening and watching Oscar Mike Radio, where our active duty service members and veterans are in action and the mission is in flight. Oscar Mike Radio is an oversized load co-Sinister One production. If you are a veteran or know a veteran who needs help, please dial 988 and press 1 for the Veterans Crisis Line.